You were waiting outside a McDonald's, and it was dark and cold, but somehow I felt warm. Maybe it was the sight of you sporting your black cowboy hat, the father I had been missing for 4 years. I felt satisfied, like some hole inside me had been filled. I had no idea that hole would open up again, deeper. I also felt slightly intimidated as I ran into your arms. You were 6'2", and I hadn't seen you in so long that you almost felt like a stranger. I thought I needed to make a good impression as we entered McDonald's. I desperately wanted something to eat there, but I was afraid you would think me childish if I did, so I went hungry. That night and every night, I read The Little Prince aloud to you. I also allowed you to sleep with my stuffed cat, Chippy. I was 9 and thought this was some grand gesture. I recall stopping at the end of a chapter every night, looking over at your bed and seeing you fast asleep. These moments were quiet and peaceful, but they were still so big. I was just so overjoyed to have you back. I learned many things about you that Christmas break. I learned how truly musical you were. Though you were a bass player, I asked you to teach me how to play Jingle Bells on the piano, and you taught me after taking less than a minute to teach yourself. I also learned how hilarious you were. I remember you showing off your fake Southern accent to me, saying you reckon you could see 15 miles from there. I learned how much you love food, both cooking and eating, but you weren't always healthy. I learned that one night when you brought down loads of gummy worms and Oreos and we feasted on them while watching Lemony Snicket. But the biggest thing I learned was how amazing you were and how much I missed out on those past 4 years. When I was 4 years old, my mom took me and moved to Portland, leaving you in New Orleans. You and her didn't have the best relationship, and eventually it was too much. I visited you once about a year later, but after that, we lost touch. At first, it was devastating, but after a while, you faded from my mind, and now I truly regret that. Eventually, I forgot what it was like to have a father. It didn't feel lonely at home, because that's what I had gotten used to. Once in a while, I wondered where you were, and sometimes I even questioned if you were on the same planet. But that Christmas break, I realized having you as a father was something I didn't want to miss out on ever again. The day after Christmas at 3 o'clock in the morning, my mom and I left for home. The back seat was stacked with food and desserts for snacking on during the 4-hour drive from Washington. We had been so distracted by catching up with family that it wasn't until then that we'd realized it was time to leave. Jingle Bells was playing on the radio, though it wasn't even Christmas anymore. It was so frosty that you could write "I Heart You" on my window, and you did. If I was there now, and I'd known that this would be the last time I'd ever see you, that would have been much more important. The images of you on the driveway as we rolled away would be clearer in my mind, and I would have taken as many mental pictures of you as I could. If I'd known that after that you would die of lung failure, then I would have begged you to at least try to stop drinking. I would have done whatever it took to make you promise to stop. But at that moment, I just felt happy.